Hey everybody, welcome back to Jackson Jetsetting. Today we are checking out the Hyatt Vivid Grand Island here in Cancun. It's one of the newest brands from the World of Hyatt. It's an all-inclusive brand, adults only. There's only a few of these around the Caribbean at this point, so I definitely wanted to come in and just wanted to check out the whole property. It's a little different than other all-inclusives in the Mexico area, especially around Cancun, because it's not actually on the beach. So we're gonna go check out what they have as an alternative to that, everything there is to possibly do here during your stay, as well as what you might expect as a Hyatt member or even a globalist like me. As always, if you love these types of videos, if you love traveling, please consider subscribing to my channel. I travel all around the world, all self-funded, and I just try and show off all the cool places I go and try and save you guys a little bit of money along the way. So the Hyatt Vivid Grand Island is a part of a larger development here in the hotel zone in the middle of Cancun. So it's on the other side of the main drag there in the hotel zone across from the beach. It's right next to the Iberostar golf course, and you do have some special rates there. It's a public course, so it's not private to the resort or even to Iberostar, but it is available right there at the hotel, making it nice and convenient. And that makes for nice views on the drive-in, at least on that side of the van. On the right side, it's the rest of the development that hasn't quite broken down yet, so not as pretty. It is the lagoon side, which from the hotel actually looks quite nice, but there's a couple different ponds that are definitely going to be cleaned up as they continue to develop Grand Island. Now, one half of the hotel is also still under construction. This is actually going to be a separate resort. It's the Dreams, which there are a lot of Dreams around. It's part of the World of Hyatt as well. It's going to be family oriented, so Dreams allow kids under 18. Hyatt Vivid is an adults only experience, so for now, it appears that they're going to have the resorts split in two. Now, I was welcomed with a nice little welcome beverage. One of the perks of having a guard shack with a long drives, they were able to prepare a little welcome beverage for me, and I checked in the Vantage Club. That was one of the benefits for being a World of Hyatt Globalist member, as I was upgraded to the special Vantage Club, which came with extra privileges. I also got a nice suite upgrade, so 2130 was my room, and this was a very spacious corner suite. I would call it technically a junior suite because there's no wall in between like a dedicated living area and a bedroom. But it is a pretty massive room, and as you'll see, an even larger balcony. It's one of the largest balconies that I've ever had. But a very nice bathroom as you walk in over here to the left. Some low-hanging lights that I definitely hit once or twice stumbling over in the bathroom when I didn't have the lights on. But two sinks here on the vanity, which is great. And lots of amenities that you may have forgotten at home, like a toothbrush or shave kit. So it's nice that they include all that and they replenish those throughout your stay. You have a hairdryer underneath the sinks, and then a bunch of towels, as well as a scale. Now, the windows to the bathroom overlook the Dream side of the resort, and while that side's not quite open yet, and it doesn't really matter about privacy, when they do open those rooms, they are going to have to figure out something. Nice large shower, and I noticed this at all the adults only all-inclusives. You're going to have two shower heads there. This is a nice little touch that they do, because mostly it's going to be couples that are coming in. So if you're here on a boys or girls trip, you can still just use one of those shower heads, but a little toilet area there as well, separate from the rest of the bathroom. And then as you walk into the main bedroom, you're going to have two closets here for all of your hanging clothes, some nice clothes for dinner. You're going to have some beach towels that they provide as well, a steamer, which is really nice, and then a safe, in-room safe, and then a mini fridge, which is of course included with this all-inclusive experience. So a couple of beers available there, Cokes, Frescas, sparkling waters, and regular waters. Right next to it too is a nice Lavazza coffee machine, so that's nice and convenient, having a little espresso in the morning, one of my favorite things about hotels, and some glassware as well. A poorly mounted television, but a large television nonetheless, and then even a wine fridge with some Chilean wine that I did not try. The main bedroom had really nice views on two of the walls, so you have just sweeping views of the golf course as well as the hotel area, and even a little bit of ocean view as well in the distance. So I think they did a really good job with what they had here in terms of the site, is like giving you as many ocean views as possible, even if it is a little bit further in the distance. But I like the little couch to hang out at in front of the bed. Nice big spacious king bed, a little stiff for my liking, but plenty of plugs next to each side of the bed as well, including new USB-C, so always nice to see that. And a new hotel pin with the Hyatt Vivid logo, which is something I always collect from all of my travels. I don't know if anyone else is a hotel pin collector out there. Let me know in the comments if you are. But here's my massive, absolutely massive balcony. I mean, there's so much room for activities here. So this is just below the pool deck. You can see the umbrellas there. But I do think that they could fill this out with something going on a little bit more, maybe They could have put a hot tub like some of the other adults-only resorts have in the area, but just 2 chairs and 1 table there. So like I said, this does provide a lot of privacy, at least at the moment. If you're on the other side of the hotel, I think that would be the most private, and it's going to stay that way. You just have golf course and ocean views. You're going to be a little closer to the ocean as well, but very happy with the size of the room as well as the view, so appreciate the upgrade as a globalist. They also, because of the balcony, have this really weird space, one of the weirdest spaces that I've seen in a hotel room. So now let's head down to the ground floor and check out all of the public spaces available here at the Hyatt Vivid Grand Island. So right to the right of the guest elevators is going to be not necessarily a lobby area, but kind of the first hub of activity that we'll find. It's a good area to hang out at least. And then to the right is Coco Cafe. And I've noticed that a lot of the all-inclusive Hyatts call their coffee shop the Coco Cafe. So it's a nice little constant thing that they have going on. Always nice to see that. So they have different snacks throughout the day. This is open 24/7. They also have ice cream, which is a great find as well. And then for an extra charge, they actually had this Moet vending machine. I think it's actually Moet, but I always screw it up. Anyway, moving on, a couple other areas here in the lobby. You have the Bloom Bar, and that's going to have all your different cocktails. You're going to have beers and wines as well. Little retail shop over here to the right. And then the first of many dinner restaurants available here on property. This is going to be called Mediterraneo. And it's going to have more Greek style food, I would say, having looked at the menu. You can download the Hyatt All-Inclusive app, and they have the menus as well as abilities to book reservations if a restaurant does take reservations right there in the app. I will say my Vantage Club status definitely came into play here because I wanted to dine at the Japanese restaurant. It was sold out when I was looking on the app when I finally arrived, but they were able to fit me in at 6 p.m., which was really great. So the Bloom Bar also kind of acts as that sports bar. They have a nice big screen playing sports. I was watching the British Open for a little bit there, so very nice. And right outside of this area is going to be the first of many pools that we'll experience on this tour. On the official map, it's called Main Pool 2. And so they're going to have different sporting equipment in here, like those water bicycles, as well as floating mats for kind of floating yoga going on. So kind of the activities pool in this area. And then to the left is Main Pool 1, and that's going to have the swim up bar and kind of where everyone was hanging out. You have different types of chairs that are actually in the water. You have umbrellas, you have cushy loungers, and then you have cabanas and hammocks. The cabanas are for rent. In the middle of these two is going to be the Hub Cafe. So the Hub is going to have a little small buffet lunch. They also have made to order burgers. They have hot dogs. So that's all available to you right here on the pool deck, making it pretty easy to find food without having to leave the pool area. Now, one thing I got to say about this area is there's no ocean views, and during my stay it was quite hot. Now, I'll give them some of the benefit of the doubt because it was July during my visit, but I don't think all the glass from the building is really doing them any favors here, or kind of all this open, dark-ish wood going on. But overall, pretty hot pool deck. Now, I always try and observe when I'm shooting these videos earlier in the morning if people were saving seats with their towels. And later in my stay, I did not really witness that, though that can definitely occur from time to time. Many of the other hotels that I stayed at on this trip, I definitely saw that, even at some of the highest end hotels that they have here in the Riviera Maya. But I did like the variety of seating that they had here. And the interesting thing I found was because they're kind of building this in a mangrove area, this whole hotel complex, this whole deck is actually above the ground. I think one reason that they do that is because mangroves frequently have crocodiles in this area, so you're kind of above all that. So I think they solved maybe one problem that they anticipated with some of the wildlife in the area, but also just makes things a little bit more convenient, I think, for upkeep purposes. In between the two buildings is going to be the convention center. That didn't seem really too open. It seemed like they had maybe one events venue open right now, maybe for weddings, but overall the Dreams Resort still needs a little bit of work before opening. And here's a look at kind of the terrace structure that they have here, which is pretty cool, honestly. Very, very fun Tulumi vibes walking through as we walk away from the pool complex and going to find a few different areas to eat and enjoy. And if you're watching this and thinking about planning your own vacation to the Cancun area, feel free to reach out to us at jacksonjetsetting.com/book. We can help you with a free quote. We plan full vacations here and would be happy to help you on your next trip to Mexico. Now that restaurant right there serves ceviche during the lunchtime hours, opens at noon. And then you're going to have even more seating here, mainly just for sun lounging. You're going to have a couple of different massage tables as well. And in the evenings, they have these sunken areas with fire pits so you can enjoy the outdoors when it cools off a little bit. Now, as we continue to walk here, we're going to make our way to a few different areas for eating and drinking again. One of the cooler bars I saw here at the resort is Amber. They have some of those swings that you can enjoy a drink at, and this is definitely a hop in place later in the evening, especially because they had a lot of evening entertainment. Most of the resorts around here do some sort of show in the evenings. They had some awesome fire dancers going on during my stay. I'll show a clip of that in just a sec. But you have Amber over here to the left, and then you have Vivid Bites over here to the right, which is their taco truck. So they have a full menu here. It's actually waiter service, so it feels like you can kind of walk up and grab food, but they actually were serving food and drink out of there, which is pretty cool. But yeah, really fun show in the evening, so you can just check that app for whatever the show is that night, and you can prioritize that accordingly. They also had a great bongo player going on between sets for the fire dancers, so overall, really high quality entertainment. I had a lot of fun watching that. Now, beneath this area is going to be some more sporting activities. And then you also are going to have a fun little garden that's underneath the decks, and it's nice and shaded. And I found out that they actually have a garden over here, and they do some sound healing activities at certain times in the morning. So I thought this was kind of a cool little area. It's very relaxing, kind of secret feeling. So a good, fun use of space there. But away from that area, you walk on these boards out to the sand volleyball court. You're going to have some ping pong tables out here, as well as pickleball and padel, which is pretty cool. Played padel a couple times, it's a lot of fun, but no tennis court, unfortunately. Now, I do think that this area needs quite a bit more shade, and maybe that's coming. This resort is only about a year and a half old, but yeah, I do think that they need to build some shade structures to get out here because it's just very, very hot. And walking around making this video, I was definitely sweating. Now we'll head back to the main pool here, and this is going to be the pool swim-up bar. This is called Seafoam, so if you're looking for a drink hanging out in the main pool here, you are well taken care of. And here's another look at the entire pool complex. So pretty large main pool complex here, but that's not the only area that you can hang out at and enjoy the sun. We're going to explore a lot more here at the hotel. Now, right as you enter, you do have a few more seating areas. A lot of people going out for excursions throughout the day. So this area is quite busy in the morning as those excursions get going. The main check-in desk is going to be over here to the right. So if you don't have Hyatt status like Globalist, this is probably where you're going to check in. They have a dedicated World of Hyatt desk in here, but the Vantage Club is going to be around the corner, and that's where the Globalists, as well as anyone who's booked specifically into Vantage Club, can access, and that kind of acts as a lounge as well. You're going to have a nice concierge. You're going to have a small area for some light bites, some hot food too, and then you're going to have your own dedicated bar with the premium liquor. So this is one of my favorite bars. They had, all the Don Julio and things like that you kind of look for when you're looking at premium alcohol at these resorts. Now, from 9 a.m. until 6 p.m., the beach club is open, and they have free transportation out to that. It's a nice air-conditioned van, very nice driver. And these shuttles run about every 15 or 20 minutes throughout the day, taking you there and back to the beach club. So it's about a 10-minute drive. You got to drive on the main drag there in the hotel zone, but then the shuttle drops you off here at Anea, which is the name of the resort. And it's very, very nice. I like the Tulumi vibes here. Nice little entry area as you walk up the stairs. They have a little concierge desk there that wasn't manned when I walked in, but a nice little entry, very dramatic entry. So quick thoughts on the beach club. So love the design of the beach club. As you walk in, you have this interior hallway that's got sand on the bottom. It's cool welcome, and I'll get to that in just a sec. But stepping out to the beach club, the actual hard product of the beach club I think is quite nice. It looks very Tulumi, very high-end, 5-star for sure. Very cool plunge pools with 4 little sections that I believe that you can rent inside the pool with day beds. So definitely a high-end resort feel here. But the only problem I would say, well, not the only problem, one of the problems I would say is next door is a new hotel being constructed, so there's lots of construction noise. So not a very relaxing sound at all to hear when you're trying to relax by the beach. And then the beach itself, I'm here in the summer, so there's a lot of seaweed going on. It's not very swimmable in general. In Cancun, for the most part, it's usually pretty strong currents and strong winds. Better than like over in Cabo. You can actually get in the water here, but the seaweed combined, I think, with some of the waves kind of prevents you from enjoying the actual ocean here. It also was incredibly hot. I got there right at 9 a.m. when the beach club opened, and it was very hot and not a lot of shade. So I would just consider that if you're considering this hotel and you really want to spend time at the beach. Definitely not the hotel for you. But if you're looking for like a beach option and maybe a hotel to stop in at, maybe on the first night of your vacation, if you have a later flight here into Cancun, save some points or money, get a new brand within the World of Hyatt program, and then progress over to the other hotel that maybe you're staying at for the rest of your trip, may not be a bad option. So that's just a little hack that I think would be a good idea for most people. I was only here for a quick visit, so I didn't get a chance to try out the food or any of the alcohol options available, but they do have that here, which is nice, and it's all included in part of your stay. It's not an upcharge, which I think is really great. So they're trying to make do with what they got. It's a pretty narrow stretch of land, and I don't love the construction going on. That'll be done at some point, so it might be a little bit better. And if you come here in the winter, the seaweed's going to be a little bit better as well. But I do like all of the things that they did here. I like this little netted area. I saw this on a Virgin Voyages cruise once. I always think that's pretty fun. Good photo ops as well. So in your pictures, this is going to look pretty great, but I think the Instagram versus reality here might be a little bit different. But I do give them kudos for having a little shaded area here and a bar to get out of the sun, because it was just so hot walking around. And you can see the hotel in the distance there, so it's really not too far of a drive. So heading back to the main resort now, let's head up to some of the upper floors and see all the other fun restaurants, as well as the top floor pool. So if you're in the elevator, you have ML, which is the main lobby, and then you have FB, which is food and beverage. And so this is the floor that we're on now. And then the next floor is actually floor 1. Very confusing, but that is how they did it here. So we're on FB. We're at the Galleria International Cafe, and this is going to be the buffet, full buffet that they have open for breakfast and lunch. Incredible options here. I walked through during breakfast. I tried a little bit as well. Plenty of different stations available, both American, Mexican, a little bit of Asian too. A couple made to order items as well, omelets, of course. And it's going to get a little busy during those peak meal times, so just keep that in mind. But overall, was very impressed with all the options here. Again, I love the food at this resort. I thought it was very, very delicious. So typically the buffets are laid out with sort of your carb area over here. Then you're gonna have hot food on one side. You're gonna have the omelet station, a couple areas maybe for yogurts, a little dessert area as well. And then at these all-inclusives, they also have a beverage area where you can get some alcoholic beverages, definitely some Bloody Marys or mimosas, things like that. And those were definitely plentiful here. I came right at opening and they already had everything set up. So the crew here at the Hyatt Vivid definitely trying to make this experience really great for everyone coming in. And again, for 23,000 points per night, a very, very good deal. Now, opposite the Galleria International Cafe are going to be 2 of the sit-down restaurants open in the evenings. Lili is going to be the French restaurant here. So I didn't get a chance to try all the restaurants. Unfortunately, I only had one night here on property, but I did walk through and it's very, very nice on the inside. So you're going to have a French menu down. And then Aglio, which is going to be the Italian restaurant. So you're going to get pizzas and things like that. And one interesting thing of walking through Aglio is this staircase here. And they do advertise this on the app, but no real signage outside of the restaurant. And it's actually a secret bar. They had hookah upstairs in the evenings. It's called Serenity. And it's got really nice views of the pool complex, some of the ocean. So if you don't have access to the top floor Vantage Club areas, this might be a good hangout spot. It seemed like most people weren't really using any of the hookah materials or anything when I walked through. So if you're bothered by smoke, may not be an issue. But it's got these fun bridges that you can walk across, and this is the main entry area to the hotel below. So very nice little bar. So definitely check this out. It's definitely a secret and definitely one that people have not always found. Now, I will say one negative of this hotel that I gotta mention next is the spa. So because the resort next door, Dreams, is gonna probably host the main spa, or at least they're waiting to build that portion out, they have a temporary solution here. So if you're looking for spa treatments while here at the Hyatt Vivid, I'm not really gonna recommend doing it, at least at the main hotel. I believe that they offer them over at the beach club as well, and that's just going to be a better experience overall. So it's basically just made up in a guest bedroom. Actually, the one opposite my hallway if I was on this floor. So a pretty large room, but definitely just a temporary solution here. Now on the top floor is going to be your Vantage Club pool. So this is just for Vantage Club members, and I think that you shouldn't visit this hotel unless you have access to this pool because it is absolutely stunning. You also have access to this roof though if you are just coming in to use the fitness center. And they have all these Peloton bikes here, which is great for globalists or anyone really in the World of Hyatt program because you get some points for working out with Peloton each night of your stay. And you just have incredible views of the entire area, similar to what I had from my suite. So I really love this fitness club, one of the best fitness clubs, at least in terms of views that I've ever seen. So this does give us a chance to look at the golf course here. 18-hole golf course. You do have a little bit of an access road right there from the hotel, right by the driving range. So you're pretty close to the clubhouse here from the main hotel. And then, yeah, you do have day use access there that you can go in and get a tee time. It's about $200 for a round. And overall, I don't think that the conditions of the course were immaculate, but definitely a fun time on vacation, and you're pretty close by to the hotel, so it could be a pretty easy access if you are a golfer. Don't want to be gone all day. To the left is the lagoon, all the main hotels here in Cancun on the beach there to the left, and then the main ocean to the right. Now let's explore this pool a little bit more. So you have a fun little bridge to cross. There's two areas of the pool on this corner. But definitely infinity, kind of reminds me of the Marina Bay Sands in a way. This is definitely worth getting access to, as I mentioned. So you have different chairs you can hang out at, enjoy the sun. Also, you have a much better breeze up here. So even in July, when I was filming this, it was a lot cooler up here just by nature of having that breeze. It made a huge difference. So I do recommend coming up here if you can and enjoying the pool. You have a swim up bar up here as well. It is called Cielo. And then you're going to have a restaurant up here, Oishi. And so Oishi is open for Japanese food in the evenings. And then you have a Vantage Club breakfast up here in the morning. So a nice little extra perk, a waiter service breakfast, which is always nice. It seemed like the vibe up here was a little bit more upscale. People were having fun, but not being overly loud. There wasn't like loud pumping DJ music, but they definitely have a DJ at times up here, I'm sure. But during my stay, really nice vibe in there, and I just really liked everything. Loved my dinner at Oishi though. I want to show off some of the food, just give you an idea of what options are available here and just how high quality it actually was. I know I've talked about that a little bit in this video. You had tempura green beans, some spicy tuna rolls that were made to order, and then you had this chicken skewer that was perfectly done. I love the delicate smoke flavor they had in there. They really took a awesome effort to all of the food up here. And then I had to get some teriyaki and then the dessert with these plantain rolls with a delicious dulce de leche sauce on there. Oh my God, so good. Pretty much all the seating here is first come, first serve. Of course, you can reserve these little cabanas for an extra charge, not included in your stay. And yeah, so you can just walk to the end here, find a nice little sun lounger that's open. I actually saw some sun loungers that were still open later in the day, which is really nice, but just amazing views and just a very impressive pool here. So I think definitely worth coming in to check this out if you are in the area or at least in the market for this hotel. You have great sunset views here at dinner as well, just makes for a very dramatic evening. The resort has a nice lighting package at night as well, so I love the blues walking around, but I did not spend any time later than that. I went and got a nice rest. Got up and enjoyed some breakfast. Here's some shots of food from the main buffet. And then I did want to try out the Vantage Club after the gym. So you do have a little menu here you can take a look at. And then I wanted to go with what I call breakfast chips, which are chilaquiles. Delicious, really nice smoothies as well. Made to order smoothies, and they delivered a little bit of delicious fruit. Definitely a high quality benefit from the Vantage Club. Now let's close this out. So this is the morning of my checkout here at the Hyatt Vivid after my one night stay here. And I have a few thoughts about the resort after experiencing it for a little bit. Number one, the food is absolutely fantastic. I think that this resort is really a great value for the points that you pay. I paid about 21 or 23,000 points per night. I'll double check and put a title in here to confirm, but a fantastic value for up to 2 people. So that's a very, very good deal, especially now that Hyatt has kind of devalued their all-inclusive charts in recent years, and it's just a lot more expensive to stay at some of these all-inclusive resorts. So the food is very, very good. My Japanese cuisine last night at Oishi was great. It's the top floor of the hotel, which had just great sunset views. You can watch the cruise ships leave Cozumel. Loved that. And all the food was absolutely delicious. Restaurant quality. Can't recommend that enough. So the food has been absolutely fantastic. Service has been very good as well. Not like fall over you service that I've seen at some like luxury resorts that Hyatt operates, or even like some of the secrets, but very, very, very good service. So I think for the price that you're paying here, it's excellent. The views from the room are amazing. I love the golf course views and the ocean beyond, and seeing all the hotels on Cancun. For me, having visited Cancun a whole bunch, I don't necessarily need to be on the beach, but that's definitely going to be a attraction for a lot of people. The main thing I don't love about my room and the hotel in general is that they did not build soundproofing into these rooms. I can hear everything above me on the pool deck because I am on the top floor. I can hear everything in the hallway. I just heard someone exit their room in the hallway now. And I'm in a suite. I'm pretty far away from that door. I can hear people opening their shades in the morning, hear the toilet flush. You may just be having a couple cocktails and passing out each night here, since it is an all-inclusive and it may not matter, but just something I noticed.